guys, welcome to Rushing Waters Yoga. This yoga flow is going to be entitled Renew Your Strength. And I'm going to go ahead and read this verse over us before we get into our flow. It's Isaiah 40:31. But those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not be faint. So that is our key verse that we're going to use for this flow. And we're going to go ahead and begin seated on our mat. So crisscross those legs. Let's take the right hand to the heart. Let's take that left hand on top of that right hand. And let's take a few deep breaths. So we're going to close our eyes. We've got that good straight spine here from the tip of the tailbone all the way through the top of the head. And we're just going to take a few deep breaths. We're going to take some deep breaths in through the nose. And then out through the nose. In through the nose. Out through the nose. Just go with the rhythm of your breath here. We're going to take those deep breaths. We're going to renew that strength here today in this class. We're going to connect with our breath, with our bodies. And just bringing all of your awareness onto that mat, onto that space. We're just going to push the world away, push any worries of today away, push any fears of tomorrow away. We're going to push that to-do list away. Just bring all of that awareness to this space. All of the awareness to that breath, to that inhale and that exhale. As we seek that renewed strength. God, we know that you are the giver and the renewer of our strength. Let's take that right hand. Let's place it down by our sides. Let's inhale, sweeping that left hand up. Take the gaze up to the ceiling. On that exhale, let's close that shoulder, rounding it forward. Inhale, opening it back up. Exhale, close. Inhale, open. Exhale, close. Inhale, open. And then take the left hand down to the mat. Let's inhale that right arm up, taking the gaze past the elbow. Exhale, close. Inhale, open. Exhale, close the shoulder. Inhale, open. One more time, we exhale and we close. We inhale and we open. And then we take the right arm down by the side. Let's find an easy twist here. So taking the left hand over to the right knee, the right hand behind the tailbone. We're just going to find a gentle little twist here. We're going to be mindful of that lower back, not forcing that spine to twist any farther than it would like to go. We're going to be very conscious of where we're moving. And then changing it out. Take the right hand to the left knee, the left hand behind the spine, that gentle twist to the opposite side. Continuing that rhythm of the breath through the whole practice. And then on that next exhale, let's bring it back forward, taking the right hand to the right knee, the left hand to the left knee. Let's lead with the center of the face here. Let's roll the head around one big circle. And then another. Changing the direction, rolling it around. And one more time. Bringing the head back upright. Let's take the right hand over to the left side of the head. Let's draw that right ear down to that right shoulder. So we're not shrugging the shoulder up to meet the ear, but we're drawing the ear down to meet the shoulder here. Breathing deep. This is very gentle. Once again, we want to stretch down the left side of the neck, maybe even feeling that a little bit into that trap muscle, but being very gentle. And then releasing that side of the head, taking the right hand down. Let's take the left hand over to the right side of the head, very gently drawing that left ear down to the left shoulder, moving that stretch into the right side of the neck. Taking a few deep breaths here. Not forcing that stretch, but being very gentle with our bodies. And then releasing it all back forward. Now we're going to roll over onto our hands and knees. We're going to open up those knees wide. We're going to kiss those big toes together. We're going to set the seat back on the heels and walk the hands out long into that child's pose. So dropping that forehead down. We're going to take a few breaths here in this child's pose, really pulling those biceps tightly up to the ears, stretching along the tops of the shoulders. We're going to relax the head, relax the neck here. And continuing that breath in and out of the nose. Let's walk those hands over to that right side. So create a little space in the left side of the ribs here, walking the hands gently to the right. And then walking the hands all the way over to the left side. We're going to create that space in the right side of the ribs, dropping it back down. Keeping that deep breath. Now let's walk those hands back forward and let's walk them out wide. So we want that left hand almost in line with that left knee. And let's take that right hand almost in line with that right knee. Drop it down, walk those fingers out long, really pulling those shoulders to opposite sides here, stretching down the center of that back. Really opening those hands wide. And then walking those hands underneath the shoulders. Let's push up onto the knees here. So coming onto the hands and knees, knees under the hips, hands under the shoulders. Let's inhale, lift that tailbone, drop that belly, and raise that gaze up to the ceiling. Exhale, tuck the hips, round the spine, tuck that head under into cat. Inhale, roll into cow. Exhale, tucking into cat, pressing all four corners of the palms into the mat here. Inhale into cow. Exhale, roll into cat. One more inhale into that cow. Raise that tailbone, drop that belly. One more exhale, pushing all four corners of the palms down. Tuck the hips around the spine. And then coming to that neutral spine. We're going to keep those hands planted under the shoulders. We're going to take that left leg back first. I'm going to turn around here. So taking that left leg back with a pointed toe, extending it long behind us. All the energy comes out of that toe here. So we're stretching down the left side of the back, all the way down the left glute, down the left hamstring and the back of the calf muscle here. Finding that strength, finding that stability as we hold that leg, extending it long. And then we're going to take that left leg, drape it over the back of the right leg, let the toe touch down, and look over that right shoulder at that toe. So we're crunching through that right side here, opening through that left rib. So keeping that space open in that left rib, crunching through that right side, pushing that right knee into the mat. Continuing that steady breath. And then a big movement here, taking that left leg. Let's lift it back up, bring the foot all the way up to the left pinky finger, and we're gonna walk those hands forward, pressing those hips down into the mat. Now pressing those hips forward, let's take a look at that left knee. Let's make sure that it stacks over the ankle, that it does not drift over those toes here. We want to be very gentle with that knee. So we're just pushing those hips into the mat, stretching into the hip flexors here. All four corners of the palm are pressed into the mat, the hips press forward. We're just going to take a few breaths here, this first deep stretch into those hip flexors. A few inhales, a few exhales. And then walk the hands back up. Let's bring the left knee back to meet the right knee. Now let's take that right leg back with a pointed toe. So we're extending that right leg long this time. All the energy goes out of that toe. We stretch down the side of the spine, down the glute, down the back of the hamstring, into the calf. Breathing deep here into that right leg. Taking those inhales and exhales. And then taking that right leg, draping it over the back of the left leg. Look over that left shoulder, back at that toe. Press that left knee into the mat here. So we're just coming into that little side crunch, really stretching into that left outer seat. Breathing deep here, controlling that heart rate. Stretching into that left hip, that left outer seat. And then taking that big movement, bring that right foot all the way up to that right pinky finger. Walk those hands forward, press those hips into the ground. Check that knee. Make sure that it is stacked over that ankle, that it does not drift over that toe here. Pressing all four corners of the palms into the mat. Pressing those hips forward, being very gentle. This is that first stretch in the hip flexors on that left side. So allowing that breath to be deep, that gentle stretch here. And then walk those hands back. Let's take that right knee back to meet that left knee. Let's get a few more cats and cows here. So inhale, tailbone to sky, navel to mat, lift the head into cow. Exhale, hips tuck under, navel to spine, drop the head into cat. Inhale into cow. Exhale, tuck into cat. Now, and inhaling deep through the nose, pressing the palms in. Exhale, curl those feet. Push into that first downward facing dog and start a pedal. We always find that pedal in that first down dog, massaging those legs here. So rotating between that right and that left foot as we bend those knees. So just taking that deep breath here, coming up onto those toes, and then pressing those heels back into the mat. Let's relax the head, relax the neck, and relax the shoulders. Just pedaling those feet, massaging those muscles. And then walking those feet all the way up to the hands, coming in to that forward fold. Now let's inhale, stacking all the vertebrae, slowly rolling it up, and exhale, drops the shoulders back. Now we're going to massage that lower back here. So inhale, big sweep of the arms. Exhale, forward fold, pushing that tailbone back, taking the hands all the way down to the toes. And then inhale, tracing those shins, coming to that flat back. Exhale, drop it back down. Inhale, come to that flat back. Exhale, drop it down. Inhale to flat back. Exhale, drop it down. One more inhale, rolling it all the way up this time. Stack those vertebrae one on top of the other, and the exhale drops the shoulders back. Now I'm gonna face you guys, and you guys can face me here. We're gonna open up those legs, so get those legs much, much wider than the hips here. We're gonna inhale, sweep the arms big. Exhale, push the tailbone back again. Take the hands all the way down in between the legs. We want to get the hands to the mat here. So open up those legs as wide as needed to get the palms of the hands down to the mat. We're just going to take a few deep breaths here, stretching into the hamstrings before we find a little bit of movement here in this wide forward fold. But take that deep breath, drop the head, relax the neck, relax the shoulders. And just breathe deep through the nose. Let's walk those hands over to that right foot very gently. So we push the stretch into the right leg a little bit deeper here as we walk those hands over. Still continuing with that steady breath. And then walk the hands one over the other all the way to the left foot. So pushing that stretch into the left foot here. Keeping that steady breath. And then bring the hands back forward. Let's take those fingertips. Let's let them face towards the back. So the forearms face forward, the fingertips face towards the back. And can we walk those hands gently back towards the heels? So we're just going to slowly walk those hands back as if we were trying to reach back behind our legs here. Taking that stretch a little deeper. Continuing to relax the head. Breathing deep. And then release the hands back forward. Now let's find a little movement here. Let's angle those toes out slightly, bringing those heels slightly in. Let's bend through the right knee. And then bend through the left knee. Bend through the right. And then bend through the left. We're just finding that movement here. Let's bend through the right knee. Bend through the left. Rotating back to the right. And one more time over to the left. Now let's just get a little movement here. Whatever feels good for you. Maybe a little movement of the shoulders. Maybe you keep that rock. Maybe you bend both knees and then straighten both at the same time. But whatever feels good for you, just find a little movement that feels good for your body. As we listen to our bodies here for just a few breaths. Now straighten those legs, dropping that head. Let's take the left hand to the center of the mat, reaching the right hand up. We're going to find a little twist. So right hand goes up to the ceiling, left hand plants into the mat. And then taking the right hand to the center of the mat, let's lift that left hand, just changing it out here. And then take the left hand down. Let's bend both of those knees. Take the right hand to the right knee, the left hand to the left knee. Maybe we find a little movement in this squat here. Making sure the knees don't press over the toes, but just find a little movement into the hips. And then straightening those legs and heel toeing those feet back together and then taking it back to the tops of the mat. We're going to inhale, lift those hands up. Exhale, forward fold, push the tailbone back, take the hands down to the mat. Inhale into that flat back. Exhale, drop it down. Inhale into the flat back. Exhale, drop it down. One more time, inhale into that flat back. Exhale, drop it down. Take the hands to the mat, step back, downward facing dog. Press the heels into the mat. Relax the head, the neck, the shoulders. Take a few breaths here. There's that pedal if you need it. You can always find that movement if needed here, but take that deep breath. And then drop the knees under the hips and walk the hands back under the shoulders. So we're coming back onto the hands and knees here. Let's take that left leg back with a pointed toe, extending it long. So coming back into that bird dog here, this time let's take that right hand, grabbing a hold of that left bicep. So we're holding on to that left bicep here as that left leg extends out long. Taking that deep breath. And then taking the right hand back down to the mat. Let's drag the left leg over the back of the right, gazing over the right shoulder at that toe. So we're just coming back into that little side crunch here. So we're pushing into that right hip here, really stretching along that right outer seat, crunching through that right rib. Controlling that breath. And then bringing that left foot up to that left pinky finger. Let's walk those hips forward again, pressing those hips into the mat. We're going to check that knee once again to make sure that it does not track over the ankle. We want to breathe, pressing those hips down. And then walking those hands back under the shoulders. Let's bring that left leg back. Let's take that right leg back with a pointed toe here. So we're going to extend that right leg long. All the energy goes out of that right foot. So now that that right leg is extended long, let's go ahead and take that left hand over to the right bicep. So we're just testing that balance a little bit here, pressing into that left knee and that right hand. Controlling that breath. Take the left hand back to the mat. Let's drag the right leg over the back of the left. Gaze over the left shoulder. Press into the left knee here. So pressing into that left hip, that left outer seat. Stretching down the side of that glute muscle, stretching into that lower back. And then big move, bring that right foot all the way up to that right pinky finger. Let's press those hips forward. Take that knee, make sure that it does not track over the ankle here. We want to keep it stacked over the ankle. Pressing the hips into the mat, all four corners of the hands press into the mat here. Stretching into those hip flexors. And then walking those hands back under the shoulders, let's bring that right knee back to meet that left knee. Take a deep inhale. Exhale, curl the toes, flex the feet, find that downward facing dog once again. So pressing the heels back, dropping the head down, relaxing the body here. Stretching into that downward facing dog. And then let's bring that left shin forward. So we're finding that pigeon pose here, bringing that left shin forward, extending that right leg back behind us. Can you drop down to those forearms as you take that deep breath? So we're relaxing those hips here, pressing those hips down into the mat, dropping down to those forearms if possible. We're just going to take a few breaths here, stretching into the hips a little bit deeper, being very gentle with those hip flexors. Breathing deep. We never lose control of the breath. And then on that next inhale, let's walk the hands under the shoulders. Let's curl the right toe. Let's step the left leg back, downward facing dog, and then bring that right shin forward to the top of the mat. We're just changing those legs out, dropping down to those forearms. Relaxing that breath as we drop down into that pigeon once again on that right side. So we're controlling that breath here, controlling our body. Embracing that stretch as we stretch into the hip flexors. Breathing deep. And then inhale as we walk those hands back under the shoulders. We're going to curl that left toe. We're going to step that right leg back, downward facing dog. And then start a pedal this time. So this time we're going to pedal the knees, pedal the feet, pushing the tailbone back and up towards the ceiling here. Find that gentle movement in the legs. And then walk the feet all the way up to the hands in that forward fold. Inhale, stack those vertebrae, lift it all the way up. Exhale, drops the shoulders back. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, forward fold, press the tailbone back, take the hands down to the mat. Inhale, come into that flat back. Exhale, drop it down. Inhale to flat back. Exhale, drop it down. One more time. Inhale, sweeping it all the way up, stacking those vertebrae. Exhale, drops the shoulders back. Now we're going to kick up that right toe. We're going to bend that left knee as we push that tailbone back, taking those hands as low as we can go here. We're just stretching in to that right hamstring. So that right toe is kicked up. We're very aware of that left knee and where it's at. We're just stretching down the back of the right leg here. We're pushing that tailbone back as we bend at the hips. So we're stretching into the right leg. Taking a few deep breaths. And then slowly lifting it all the way up. Let's take the right foot back to meet the left foot. Let's kick that left toe up. Bend that right knee. Take the hands down to the left leg. So changing that stretch over into that left hamstring here. Breathing deep. Relaxing the breath, relaxing the body here. And then slowly lifting it all the way up, taking the feet back to the tops of the mat. Inhale, sweep the arms. Exhale, forward fold. Let's take it back into that downward facing dog, pressing the heels back, dropping the head, relaxing the head, the neck, the shoulders. And then drop the knees under the hips, open them wide. Let's find a child's pose here. So setting that seat back onto the heels, opening the knees wide, dropping the forehead down to the mat. We walk those hands out long. And just take a few deep breaths in this child's pose, slowing it down for just a moment. Breathing deep. Let's take that right hand palm up. Let's thread it underneath that left arm, dropping down to that right elbow, then the right shoulder. That palm is facing up towards the ceiling. We're rounding through the back here, stretching into the shoulder blades. Just relaxing the breath, relaxing the heart rate here. And then take the right hand back to the top of the mat. Let's take that left hand, palm up, drop it down to the elbow, then the shoulder, the back of the hand touches the floor, the palm is up to the ceiling. Breathing deep, rounding through the back here. Relaxing the breath. And then take the left hand back to the mat. Let's drop it down one more time in this child's pose, taking the forehead down to the mat. And then inhale, pressing back up onto the hands and knees. Walk the knees under the hips, the hands under the shoulders. Now we're going to take this right hand to the back of the head. We're going to inhale, lifting that elbow up to the ceiling. And then exhale, bringing the elbows together. The right elbow comes into the left elbow crease. Inhale as we open and lift. Exhale, elbow to elbow. Inhale, open and lift. Exhale, elbow to elbow. One more time, inhale, open and lift. Exhale, elbow to elbow. And then take the right hand down to the mat. The left hand comes to the back of the head. Inhale, open and lift through the elbow. Exhale, elbow to elbow. Inhale, open and lift. Exhale, bring the elbows together. Inhale, open and lift. Exhale, bring the elbows together. And then take the left hand back to the mat. Take a deep inhale. Exhale, curl the toes, flex the feet, find that downward facing dog. Press the heels into the mat, and then step the right foot in and the left foot. Inhale, draw it all the way up. Stack those vertebrae. Exhale, drops the shoulders back. Inhale, big sweep of the arms. Exhale, forward fold. Take the hands down to the mat. Inhale, come to that flat back. Exhale, drop it down. Step back, downward facing dog. Pressing the heels forward. Relaxing the head. And then drop the knees under the hips. Walk the hands under the shoulders. Now let's bring that right foot up to that right pinky finger one more time here, pressing those hips forward. Let's go ahead and rock that foot open to that knife's edge. So we're going to get a few rocks here. We're opening through the hip and then closing the hip. So whatever feels good for you, rolling that ankle over and then bringing it back to the sole of the foot. Just create a little space in that right knee. Open and closing the hip. And then we're going to press back into the hamstring. And then forward into the lunge. Press back into the hamstring. Forward into the lunge. Pressing back into the hamstring. Forward into the lunge. And one more here, pressing back into the hamstring. And then walking it forward into the lunge. Let's take that right knee back to meet that left. And that left knee, or that left foot comes forward to that left pinky finger. Walk those hands forward, drop those hips. And then roll that left leg open to that knife's edge. And then bring it back to the sole of the feet here. Now just find a few moments to open up through that left hip and then close it back. Whatever feels good for you, just rotating that leg open and then shut. Creating a little space in that left hip. And then press back into the hamstring. And then forward into the lunge. Back into the hamstring. Forward into the lunge. Back into the hamstring. Forward into the lunge. And then take the left knee back to meet the right. And we're going to roll it over onto that seated position here. So we're going to go ahead, working our way from the top down to the bottom. We're going to inhale those shoulders up. Exhale, drop them back. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, drop them back. Get a good straight spine. Inhale the hands up. We're going to interlace the fingers here. Take the pointer fingers up to the sky. We're going to get a little twist to the right. A little twist to the left. A little twist to the right. A little twist to the left. Now taking the hands to back down to our knees, we're going to do some cats and cows here as we are seated. So inhale, open through the chest. Exhale, round the spine, draw the navel back. Inhale, lift and rise. Exhale, draw it back. Inhale, lift and rise. Exhale, draw it back. And then coming to that good neutral spine, let's take the right leg out to the right side, the left leg out to the left side, coming in that wide straddle. First, we're going to take it down to that right toe. So stretching into that right hamstring again, reaching down for that right toe here. We're going to be very gentle, staying within our own range of motion wherever our hands meet and it feels comfortable. We don't want to stretch too far into that leg. Now we're going to walk those hands one over the other all the way around to that left foot. So just changing out that stretch and that rotation, reaching down for that right toe here. Breathing deep. We're starting to relax that breath once again. And then walking those hands all the way back over to that right foot. So changing that stretch out. Once again, reaching down for the right leg. Not letting that tension build up here. We want to keep that deep breath. And then walking the hands all the way over to the left leg, reaching down for the left toes. And then bringing it all back center here. Can you drop down a little bit lower in that straddle? Staying within that own range of motion, being very gentle with that lower back. As we just start to shift our focus onto that verse again. But those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not be faint. As we just prepare ourselves for that meditation, that renewal of our strength that is ahead. Slowly walking those hands up and bringing those legs back in, crisscrossing those legs here. We're going to get that good straight spine. We're going to slow down the breath as we continue with a few more movements. We're going to take that right leg out in front of us. We're going to take that left foot over at the knee. We're going to find a little twist here. So taking either that right hand or that right elbow over to the left knee. We're just going to find a little twist. The left hand comes behind the tailbone, gazing over that left shoulder. So we're being very gentle here with that back. You can always take that hand down to the knee, pulling the knee in. We're just finding that gentle little twist here. And then bringing it back forward. Let's take the left leg out. The right foot goes over at the knee. Either the hand or the elbow comes to the knee. The right hand goes behind the spine. We're just finding that little twist in the opposite direction, wringing it out. Taking a few deep breaths. And then bringing it all back forward, and we're going to get into that reclining position. So slowly lowering it all the way down. We're going to extend those legs out long. Let's go ahead and extend those hands up above the head for just a few moments here. So really stretching through the entire body, reaching the fingertips long, reaching the toes long. And then curling the knees into the chest. Let's take the hands to the knees, curling into that tiny little ball. Let's get a little rock to the right and then to the left. A little rock to the right and the left. Once more to the right. Once more to the left. And then curling those knees tightly into the chest. Let's shift the hands over to the left knee. Let's extend the right leg out long, flexing the foot, taking the right hand to that right hamstring to stabilize any shake there. Pressing the shoulders into the mat. Don't let that chest draw up. Don't let that back round here. Just stretch into that right hamstring. Breathing deep. And then draw the right knee in. Let's extend the left leg long, flex the foot. Take the hand to the hamstring to stabilize that leg. Being very gentle with the back here. And then draw the knee into the chest. Let's take a rock to the right. And then to the left. Over to the right. To the left. One more time, over to the right. One more rock to the left. And then take the soles of the feet down to the mat. We're going to extend that left leg long. We're going to take the right hand over to the left knee, pull that left knee across the body very gently here. We're just letting those hips stack up. That right hand stays behind. We're just finding that little supine twist. Breathing deep, relaxing the lower back. So we start to move into that time of meditation, that renewal of our strength here. Take the right leg back, bend the left knee in, right hand to left knee. Gently pull the knee across the body, leave the shoulders planted. Just stacking those hips very gently. Breathing deep. And then bring the knee back up. Let's take the left elbow to the inner part of the left knee, the outer part of the left foot, the right elbow to the inner part of the right knee, the outer part of the foot. We're just finding a little happy baby here. Maybe you find a little rock here as well, a little movement. Maybe you find that stillness. This is that last pose before we move into that meditation time. So take advantage of this pose, getting a little movement here if that feels good for you. Just massaging the back on the mat. A little rock or a little sway as we stretch into the hamstrings and the hip flexors. A few more inhales, a few more exhales. And then releasing it all down to the mat. Go ahead and find a comfortable place to lie down. I'm going to sit up, but you guys, I want you to lay down on your mat. Get comfortable here. Get the wiggles out. Really press into that space. Grab anything close to you that you may need. And we're just going to go ahead and lay it all down. We're going to feel every place that our body makes contact onto the mat here, feeling each and every place that it is pressed in, from the backs of the heels all the way to the tops of the head. We're going to focus on that breath for just a few moments. So breathing in and out of the nose, continuing that steady breath. As we get ready for this meditation, we ask that that strength is renewed here. God, we know that you are the giver and the renewer of our strength. God, it all comes from you. And we're just going to breathe into that strength here for a moment, shifting our focus to that strength, God, to your goodness. God, you said we will run and we will not grow weary, that we will walk and not be faint. And we claim that for ourselves tonight during this meditation, during this time. We focus on you. We refocus on you here. We know that the same God that holds the universe up with one hand takes hold of us by the other. God, our hope is in you. Our strength is found in you. And we speak that strength over ourselves during this meditation, during this time of reflection. God, we know that your promises are true. God, we know that you are where our help comes from, that you are where our strength comes from. And we ask that it be renewed right here and right now on this mat. God, we ask for that renewal of our strength. Psalms 103:5 says, God, renew my energy when I am tired. God, sometimes we grow weary, we grow tired, we get frustrated, but we know that that hope is found in you, and we ask that you renew that strength for us. Renew that energy and that strength, God. Help us to soar on those wings like eagles. Help us to run and not grow weary. Help us to walk and not be faint. And God, renew our energy when we are tired. Renew our strength when we feel weak. And let's just take a few deep breaths here. Maybe something comes up in your spirit during this time, a place where you feel weak, a place where you feel helpless. Maybe something comes to your mind, an area of your life where you greatly need that renewal of your strength. And just speak that out to him, call that out to him. Have that communication with him. As we take a few breaths here. Maybe it is some physical strength you need. Maybe it is some emotional, some mental, some spiritual strength. Just speak that out to him. He hears your cries. He hears your words. As we just breathe here for just a few minutes and we pray, we rest in his presence. And we allow those cups to be filled. We allow that strength to be renewed. Allowing that breath to be deep, that body to be relaxed, and just to embrace this moment with him. Allowing every inhale to bring a renewal of that strength, a renewal of that energy. God, you are the giver of every breath we take. You are the giver of that strength, of that energy, God. And as we take that deep breath, just get these words down into your spirit here as I read this over you. These declarations, maybe one of these words coincide with something that you're going through in your life right now, but allow us to just get these words deep within our heart and deep within our spirit. As we take that deep inhale and that long exhale, stress will not control me. Worry will not overwhelm me. Fear will not reside in me. God, for I am renewed by you. I am motivated. I have a plan. I will think of solutions. I will be proactive. And I will get things accomplished. Change my heart, God. Renew my strength and restore my soul. God, we know that you are good. You are the giver and the renewer of our strength. And we claim that strength over ourselves right here and right now. Refresh us, God. And help us to walk forward in that strength. Staying in his presence. And I thank you for joining me for this class today.